Got the Bandy skates here. Wissota set up for a 1-inch radius of hollow. You bring the skate and just drag it along. Okay, this is for Bandy. We're going to go ahead and put a radius on here because the rules state that you have to have at least a 5mm radius on here, and these are rather new skates. Got a sharp edge, which is pretty dangerous, so we're going to go ahead and round this off with the skate sharpener. So if I look at the rules of Bandy here and equipment, and go through and look at skates, it says that the radius of rounding should be at least 5mm. Minimum blade thick is 2.9mm. I'm going to cut this down and make this a little bit of rounded on here so that it's at least 5mm. And then here's a hockey blade. I'm not going to make it as much as that, but I want to make it a little bit less aggressive. It's way too sharp there. Needs to be at least a 5mm radius, and I'm going to make it somewhere between a 5mm here and something sort of like a hockey blade, just to cut this down a little bit. You use the Wissota 911 here. Done some cutting on there. If you go too much, you're going to burn it. You probably went a little bit too much in the prior pass. It's all done by hand. I drew what I wanted on there with a pencil. It's still a little bit too sharp. You don't want to go too much because this will get hot and kind of screw up the temper. And I kind of did that over here, but I've ground through the part that's on there. So you got to be kind of go slow. I'm not really caring too much right now about the radius of hollow because I'm just trying to grossly remove some material on here to get the profile down. Then I'm going to trace this out and put it on the other skate. I'm just trying to get this a little bit less aggressive on the... Okay, here's one of the skates. This is the original. Here's what I've gone through and kind of toned down the edge. It's not as curved as a hockey blade, but I just want to turn this down a little bit so I don't bust my butt in the corners so much. I've got kind of a little bit of a graceful. I've gone from here and transitioned it in. And I'm going to copy that on a piece of paper here and actually go through and transfer that over here so I can get the other skate to sort of match up. And those are on Bandy skates. Again, the minimum on this is a 5mm radius. Let's say you want to be 6, it's close to a 1/4 inch. You need about a little bit of like if you drew a circle in here about the size of a dime, dropped in here, you need to get that off a little bit. Again, these are carbon steel. And since I'm going on a smaller rink, I'm just trying to get some of the bluntness off here so I don't catch the edges. Now if I go through with the pencil, draw the contour here, try to match it to the one I'm trying to contour back. You can see that got a little bit different. I think got this little tip right in here. I need to round that off some. Try to get the match up right in here. Got the line 11 fired up. A little bit of vacuum action. Don't want to go too much because you end up burning the blade. fact, I touched this Band-Aid on here, it melted. Okay, after that little touch up, I've got it close enough for what I want to do. Now I'm going to go ahead and take a profile off the back here. Okay, I've drawn with a pencil around the contour, the rear of the Bandy skate that I've turned down. And I'm going to look at the other skate I'm doing here, and you can see I've got to go ahead and take a little bit more off. It's not done, but it's close. Got the 911 rolling. A little bit of vacuum action. I'm just going to gingerly try to match the profile like that. Turn off the sharpener. It's pretty close for what I'm trying to do. Just want to get them roughly about the same. So I've got them pretty much matched up. When you do a lot of grinding like that, you got to be careful you don't burn it. And I started to do that earlier. You can screw up the temper. But those look pretty good. Those are just regular carbon steel. Just cutting continuously, so that's a good radius. One more pass and you bring this out of the way. Now I've got a 1-inch radius on there. I'm going to go ahead and sharpen my Bandy skates with that. Last time I did it, earlier, it was with a flat radius of hollow. Now I'm going to go ahead and try just with a little bit of radius of hollow, 1 inch. Okay, I've got the Bandy skates here. Wissota set up for 1 inch radius of hollow. You bring the skate and just drag it along. We'll take a couple cuts and then see how I've got the squareness. So this was set up for another hockey blade about the same thickness, so I probably don't have to mess around with the holder, but I'm going to take a couple cuts till I've actually got cutting all the way across on here. Then I'm going to go through and measure the squareness. Okay, there's the Bandy skate in the holder. And take a stare at square and hold it up here on the flat, and then go through and look at the squareness. If it's like this, the bottom end is not to the right enough. If it's like this, the top edge is to the right too much. So you go through here and look at this has got parallel sides. Now in a figure skate, this has got chrome relief through here. When I say chrome relief, it has an edge through here that's got a bevel on it. And these Bandy skates are like older hockey skates in the sense that you have these are carbon steel, but there is no chrome relief, so it's kind of easier to see if they're square, but you got to make sure you've gone through and where the chrome is chipped, sometimes it looks the same as being where it's not sharpened. So you have to kind of examine, like through here, it looks like it's not really sharpened, but it is. That's just the part that the chrome is kind of flaked off through here. These are carbon steel blades. So I've got a 1 inch radius of hollow on there. They're square, and all I've got to do is kind of just knock off just a little bit of the burr. And that's with the Wissota 3D holder, which is a good holder. You can go through and lift the left or right on there, and also the tilt. If you want to go change the Z height, you just turn them all up equal amounts. And that's a stair square that's actually use that more for figure skating. That's a 14D square. And there it is. I've put a little bit of a radius on the end of the Bandy skates. And I change it from a flat to about a 1-inch radius of hollow. It's got a shallow radius of hollow in there. The curvature on these is less than hockey blades through here from the side profile. Side profile on these is a lot more rockered. That's a used stainless blade. This is a low-end non-stainless. You can tell this has got kind of a duller sheen, kind of like a stainless refrigerator. This has got the chrome on it. It'll rust. This actually hasn't been used yet. That's why it has this finish on here like this. They chrome the whole piece. And so a brand new blade has got more side view, more rocker like this on hockey than on Bandy. Okay, here's the other skate. It's in the holder. Here's the other skate in the holder. And I need to get a tripod mount for this camera. So I was kind of doing that one-handed, isn't the best. So you can check the flatness of this thing or the squareness in the holder itself. You don't have to take it out of the holder. And that's the 911. Got it set for a 1-inch radius of hollow here. Normally I got it set for 5/8. I just doing some experimenting here. Got a nice edge on there. Okay, generally if one skate is square in the holder, the next one will, unless it's not clamped wrong, or you got something weird where you got a goofy blade that's not the same thickness. Which is, it happens sometimes, but generally not. We got nice and square there. I can zoom, look way down. Hard to see. Make sure that's square. Difficult to see. It's square. That's a precision square. That's a carriage for figure skates for another machine. And that's the 3D holder. So all I got to do is knock just a little bit of a, there's just a little bit of a burr on there. These will rust. These are not stainless. This particular blade here is a 8000/5 carbon. Whatever that means. Probably 1085 carbon steel. 1-inch radius of hollow. And that's my turn down. Experimentation. It's fun.